Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about curriculum. It's May and a lot of homeschooling families are either done homeschooling for the year or they're wrapping up the year. And what I'm finding is that a lot of people are coming up to me completely panicking because they feel like they are behind in their curriculum. And I just want to encourage you a little bit about that subject today. First of all, what you need to remember about curriculum, especially curriculum that is written on a 36-week basis or sometimes even 180 days, what you need to remember is that these curriculums are written as if students never get sick, never go on field trips, never do any sort of things for their homeschool day other than this curriculum. Basically, they write it as if your child is going to be doing that curriculum every single day for every day of the homeschool year without ever missing it. And I think we know that that is extremely unrealistic. Another thing that you need to remember is that it's also written as if students never need time, like extra time on a lesson. You know, it's written as if the students are able to move on every single day exactly as if they're going to. They don't need to review. They're not having problems. They don't need to work extra long on something that they're not really getting. And that's something else that it's not realistic. So when you're using your curriculum, even if it says that it's for 36 weeks or 180 days, it's okay if you don't get it done by the end of the year. It really is. And also, I think that what we need to remember is that even in schools, they don't finish their textbooks. And yeah, I don't like to compare homeschooling to school very often because schools don't work in my book. But I think that a lot of people who get really stressed out over their falling behind in their curriculum, they are very school at home-ish, and I think that a lot of times they do kind of follow a more schoolish type of schedule. So I just want to encourage you in that. It's okay if you don't finish it. You can either, and these are your two options if you do not finish your curriculum. You can either continue it with the next year. You know, there's no law saying that you have to do this curriculum all in one year and that you can't pick it up the next year. I know there are a lot of kids who really don't like to do that because if I would hand, say, my new 8th grader a 7th grade math book that she never finished, she would be like, "Mom, I'm not in 7th grade, I'm in 8th grade." So yeah, I get it that some kids really wouldn't want to do that. That's one of the reasons I like Life of Fred, because it's not like based on grade levels. So that is one idea. So if your child is okay with picking up and just finishing that curriculum, and that's actually what my oldest daughter did. She didn't finish her psychology textbook last year, and she actually opted to finish it out this year just because she wanted to. So some kids are really okay with that. And if you don't want to do that, you can also just stop your curriculum where it's at, because what you need to remember, especially if you're going to be using curriculum from the same publisher the next year, a lot of times the first few weeks are all about review. So even if you didn't finish the curriculum, chances are it's going to be covered in that review, and you can take that extra time to go over it. And speaking of extra time, I just also want to really emphasize that if your child needs extra time on something, by all means, split those lessons up. You do not have to be on lesson 1 just because it's day 1 of your homeschool. You don't have, well, okay, that usually would happen, but you don't have to be, say, on lesson 60 because it's day 60 of your homeschool. It doesn't have to happen like that. For example, my son, he doesn't really do well with longer math lessons. So what we've been doing is we've actually been cutting his algebra actually. We've been cutting his algebra lessons in half. And what he usually does is he will do half of his lesson. And if he does well with it and completely understands it, we'll move on. You know, we won't do the rest. We'll move on to the next lesson. If he needs practice, we'll do the other half the following day. And yeah, you know, that means that we're not going to finish that curriculum all in one year. But if you ask me, I would rather have my child have a full understanding of what they are learning than be able to say that we finished the curriculum knowing in my heart that my child really did not understand much of what they did. So the point is that don't let your curriculum rule over you. Do not become a slave to it. We need to remember that curriculum it's a tool for us. Just because it's written a certain way doesn't mean that we have to use it that way. We don't have to cover every single section in every single book. We don't have to answer every single question. We don't have to do every project that they recommend, every experiment. It's okay if you don't do it all. And I've even known some people who have only used their textbooks for the table of contents and have used the table of contents so that they have a good plan for how they want to cover that subject, but instead of using the textbook itself, they've used the table of contents to go to the library and actually get some living books or trade books out that will cover those subject areas in a more interesting way. So that's my encouragement to you today. Do not feel like you're failing if you did not finish your homeschool curriculum or if you're not going to, because you know what? That's not what it's about. Homeschooling is about making sure that your children are able to grasp the concepts that you're teaching them. It's not about checking things off in a book. So I hope this has helped you. I hope you have a great day.